This is Greg with Nelson Construction. We're out here today at Victoria Drive. That's my superintendent over there doing the frickin' trying to make me laugh. So we're out here at this historic house here in Dunedin on Victoria Drive. This was apparently one of the first homes on this street. I think it dates back to the Morgan family in the late 1800s. There is a plaque on the front of the property, and it would indicate that it's about 125 years old. We had somebody from the city of Dunedin come by yesterday actually and indicate that this house is actually a lot older. So this is probably north of a 130-year-old house here in Dunedin. This house, the flooding that occurred in the last storm, it made it up to the porch, and it was about an inch away from getting inside into the hardwood floors in the house. We were previously under contract to do a restoration on this house. Nelson Construction is, we're known for doing historic restorations. Then the storm hit and the customer made the decision to go ahead and elevate it. In the case that we have another storm, then maybe it's a little bit more storm surge. And to boot, the foundation under this house, as we can show you a little bit more in a minute, is basically just bricks sitting on sand. So we don't know if they compacted it. They probably didn't do any kind of compaction tests. We don't know how it was engineered or who engineered it, but it's just, you know, the storm surge came and it washed away a lot of dirt, and it probably decommissioned that foundation and, you know, compromised a lot of the integrity of the foundation that's under the house to begin with. So what we're gonna do on this project is we're gonna elevate the house. And not only are we gonna elevate the house to be above the base flood elevation, we're gonna be a little bit higher than the base flood elevation, but we're also gonna move it forward 12 feet. And the reason we're gonna do that is because this front yard is massive, the backyard is not. And they would like to have a pool and a courtyard. So we're gonna capitalize on lifting it, move it forward about 12 feet. It's gonna be about 10 feet in the air while we're moving it. And then we're gonna build a new foundation, which has been engineered with concrete and rebar, a modern foundation. And we're gonna set this beauty right back down on top of that on the new foundation. And then when that's done, we're gonna restore the house. You wanna go over to the corner here? So basically what this is it's a process of tunneling under the house to slide these I-beams under there. These I-beams are engineered based on the spans of these I-beams. The engineer on record decides the thickness. A lot of these I-beams are fabricated for just this job. Obviously they can be reused or some stuff from other jobs, but there's still, there's mending plates that splice them, and the lengths of them and the size of them is very specific. It's not just a bunch of sticks going under the house and we're lifting it up. These things are spanning under the existing heart pine girts that are under the house. I don't know if you can get a view down here. So this is a smaller beam here, and this one's just going to be supporting the porch. This is one of the smaller beams. Now if you come around to the side of the house here, we got some perpendicular beams, the green ones, and these are your big boy beams. And then you can see this trench here. I'm gonna go stand in it. This trench here that I'm standing in, this was hand dug all the way under the entirety of the house. I'm gonna say, and we got 4 locations, and these beams here go under the entirety of the house. I don't know if you can see it there. That's one of the first girts on the house right there. So these beams are holding all the weight, and then the perpendicular smaller beams are holding porches, and you can see some of the cribbing there. And the cribbing is stacks of wood, which that's what all this pressure treated 6x6s are. These are jack platforms. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this specialized lifting equipment on top of the cribbing and in very specific locations. And then we'll show you the hydraulics, the manifold that's used. It's just made for lifting houses. They're all controlled at the same time, and it's so that everything is moving at the same time. You know, maybe 20 years ago, you'd have broken windows and cracked, all sorts of stuff. But this thing, we're not gonna have any broken windows or anything. It's gonna be lifted up very, very controlled, very slowly. Today it's going up in the air 10 feet, and then I believe tomorrow we're gonna be rolling it forward on some big rollers. So yeah, we can walk around the back and see there's another beam tunneled under there. There's another one tunneled under here. And you can see there's a jack. There's one of your jacks. Those are used for leveling out the beams initially. It's pretty precise. We're literally using shims and levels, and you know, you can get an idea here. I mean, you know, that's a shim. So we're tapping these in. We're trying to get everything touching those girts under the house. Those girts under the house might be up and down a little bit, but these beams are straight and we need to shim them so that we have contact under each girt so that this house lifts at the same time. If we don't have contact, then the house goes like this. So it's a pretty scientific process. You can see here, as an example, these are your piers, old brick piers down here at the bottom, somewhere in there. There's a piece down in there. You've got basically just bricks kind of tearing out that are holding this house up. I guess old Henry and Bobby decided how many bricks needed to go under there, and well, it's still holding up the house. But it's not really, there's no engineering involved. It's just bricks on the sand. Nowadays we use plate compactors. We're gonna compact the soil. We're gonna pour concrete, put rebar, and connect it all together. So this house is gonna get a major upgrade. It's gonna have a new foundation, a modern foundation for this old house. Here's an example of a specific situation around the chimney. This isn't the main flue for the house. This is more of an old cooking chimney, but it's original. We chipped there and we put this beam here, a smaller beam. That's gonna carry the weight of this guy. We've got perpendicular steel on both sides, and this goes chipped and it's going right under this chimney to hold it together. A lot of these chimneys have mortar with a lot of lime in it, and so these aren't necessarily, there's not a lot of binders in the mortar, so this can fall apart pretty easy. So it's very important to support the weight. Now the building, this chimney is against the building, so the building's it's attached to it, so it's not necessarily gonna fall out. There will be some more reinforcement. You'll see on the other chimney that we're coming up to that we've taken a lot of effort to support it off the building, because there's a whole bunch of it that's just standing on its own, and we don't want it to sway because there's no reinforcement. It's old school mortar, and it's been there for over 100 years. So for here you can see this, how the chimney's been supported where it comes off the building there. We've put supports around 4 corners of the chimney of the flue, and then we've supported it off the building. So yes, if anything shakes, it won't fall over. You know, you can get an idea of kind of like the depth of these trenches here. You can see some groundwater starting to come up. Generally, if you get too deep on something like this, then you got to do dewatering and get pumps and get water out of there. But we're lucky we didn't have to go that deep. This house is already off the ground a few feet. So it's actually, believe it or not, this is a bit of a cakewalk. It's a pretty easy job compared to some of the jobs that are done like this. These boys are putting in more cribbing. And now you can see this fireplace, we've got 2 slots in there. They're gonna be putting 2 more steel beams under there. That large beam will come across these 2 green ones, and then they'll put some smaller ones across, and that'll hold the weight of that fireplace there. And then let's go check this guy out. This is a diesel powered hydraulic controller. These are all your hydraulic cables. Each one of these cables goes to a jack platform. So this is the hydraulic gauges for all the hydraulics that are gonna lift the house. It's gotta be done in a very controlled fashion. This is proprietary equipment specifically designed for lifting houses. Like I was telling you earlier, we've got shims. You gotta have direct contact with beams on the girts on the house. The existing structural members on the house, the existing heart pine girts are not necessarily straight. They might have twisted over time. They might be, they were rough sawn by a sawmill. They might not be, but the steel that we're putting under there is perfectly straight. So we've got to use shims to make sure everything is nice and tight up against those girts. And if we need a little bit more lift on one or whatever, then someone's gonna say, hey, give me a little bit more on number 7 or hit it more on 14, and we can control the hydraulics so that we can lift the house in a very controlled fashion. So that's the whole idea behind this. Yeah, so over here, come on, man. Over here, this is Chuck. This is our superintendent Chuck. He's in charge of the job. He's the man on the ground. And we have our project coordinator, Matt Kiley. There's a lot of coordination involved with getting a project like this to come off. You gotta have a good coordination. You gotta have a superintendent that can crack the whip on making sure materials arrive and everybody shows up on time, so that other subcontractors aren't waiting. I think Chuck's been superintending for 40 years plus.
Long time.
And he's been involved with several house lifts up in wherever it is you're from. New Orleans. And, we had, as everybody knows, they had big hurricanes up there, and he was involved in a lot of that. So, we definitely hire the best superintendents available for the specific types of work that we're doing. Chuck's been with us for 4 years now, right? About 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. Yep. And Matt's been with us for a couple years now, and he's helping coordinating a lot of the logistics between the site and the office. And, it's very, very important to have a skilled team, dedicated team with experience to do do something like this. This isn't, I mean, it's obviously it's big boy Legos, but still there's a lot of coordination because something falls down and that's bad. I'm Greg Nelson. I'm the owner of Nelson Construction Renovations. If you like the video, click subscribe, give us a like, and see you on the next video. Thank you.